Welcome to 40 Below Zero, an international podcast about life with invisible illnesses, hosted by two guys living with multiple sclerosis. Coming to you from the Keystone State of Pennsylvania, I'm your co-host Nix, and with me on this ride is Terry, a Londoner who calls Ontario home. We're so happy you're here with us as we continue to try and normalize a life that is anything but. So let's get into it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. So glad you're back with us as always. It's been a week. Terry, it's good to see you, my brother.
What's going on, bro? Yeah, it's been a long week.
It has. So, took some time off, had to deal with some things, had to deal with myself. It wasn't quite adjusting to the heat. So I just needed to relax. And, sometimes just highlighting how many times do we make plans and we have to bail on them because of this. And that was last week. So,
yeah. Is it from the heat?
Overdoing it, just doing too much, trying to accomplish that never-ending to-do list, and just putting more pressure on myself that is necessary. So, and guess what? I didn't even get through the to-do list I was trying to get through. So, lesson learned. Gotta slow down.
Yo, is it like stuff around the house that you're doing? Are you like,
Yeah,
I got to put this poster up?
yeah, like it's
My Axl Rose
oh
poster?
yeah. Don't come at me. Don't come at me, sir. My appetite for destruction started quickly. Okay.
I was into Guns N' Roses. It's fine. I'm an 80s guy.
And speaking of, wait a minute, back up a second. Totally off topic.
Yeah,
but it was early 90s, so maybe late 91, early 92. I bought the Metallica poster for their Black album. I spent $8 on a poster that was all black.
That's right.
What a scam that was.
Yo, I'm going to pull it out. I want to see what it looks like. I know what you're talking about, but that's funny.
I was like, I got to get the poster. And I'm like, it's a black poster.
There was a logo on it, right?
Yeah,
it wasn't just black.
No, there was the logo, but it was so not visible.
What about the people who bought the baby poster from Nirvana? That's weird.
Another poster I couldn't stand, those 3D art image posters from back in the day where you could stare at the thing and it would show you what a waste. What a waste.
What a waste, bro.
Dude, we just...
No, people...
Listen, we were gone for a week and we went straight off topic.
I'm confused, bro.
Me too. But I'm glad we're here.
I am too.
So, like I said, yes, it was me overdoing my to-do list, me thinking that anybody cared how fast I got it done. Absolutely no, it wasn't anything pressing. It was just like, I have all, it's summertime and you're like, oh, I'm going to do all these things. And so now I'm in pain and I took all my spoons for all the MSers out there. I took all my spoons out of the drawer and threw them on the front lawn. And I couldn't find them for days.
That's a good video, bro.
That's how I feel about it. So anybody out there who is stressing about their to-do list, just remember you could end up like me and actually doing more harm than good.
My challenge is rushing like you do because someone's going to bother me and slow me down. So get it done as soon as I can. Yeah.
And looking backwards on my socials, apparently it was about this time last year where I did almost exactly the same thing. So I have learned absolutely nothing.
Totally remember that.
So
I remember a guy once told me when I was volunteering at some bingo thing for the MS Society, some guy's like, hey, do you know when an MSer asks for help? And I'm like, when? And he said, when they're on the floor. And I'm like, yeah, man, that's kind of true, right? Why? Is it because of our egos? Is it because we don't want, we're okay until we're on the floor.
I believe it's because we're ingrained to tie our self-worth to our productivity. And I know I'm getting deep in the first 5 minutes of the show, but that's what I believe. I believe that if we're not productive, if we're not actually doing something, then we feel like our value is going down and that we don't deserve rest.
True that, man. That's exactly what it is. It's also because we were hit with MS and our lives slowed down.
So the question I ask then is, who cares? Who watching or listening even knows what the items on my to-do list are, let alone have I finished them or where I'm at on this list? And I forgot that nobody knows or really cares. So
It's a good reminder, man. Nobody cares that I have number 1, brush teeth. Number 2, shower. No, I'm just joking. That's not my list.
but even if it was, so like, all right, so hypothetically, you wake up, that's your to-do list, you make it to number 1, and that's all you got. Are you a failure?
Did you know why I said that?
Why?
Because growing up, I was a list guy, and everything it was a sense of accomplishing stuff. So everything was on my list. It was so bad where I would put like brushing my teeth, shower, so I can at least go check. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I make fun of it now, because I'm like, I can't believe I used to do that. Like it was part of my routine, but I had to check mark it to make my day feel accomplished.
Right. Exactly. So you felt worthy or, feeling accomplished.
You're so right, bro.
So then so my question I had posed to you was, if you made that list and there was 2 things on it and you only got to number 1, who would know, and why would you feel like you were a failure because you didn't get to number 2? You made it to number 1.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's the thing. That's why I was being too hard on myself for no reason whatsoever. And literally everyone around me knows what the deal is with me and the heat and me and Strat. Like everybody knows. And yet I don't. Like I'm the only one who doesn't get it still. And it's been like 12 years, I guess. I don't know. It's been forever. Feels like forever. So that was my week last week. I was paying for overdoing it.
Sorry, bro. I have no words.
But I'm back.
Next time. No, yeah, I have no words, bro.
Replay this first 10 minutes of this episode and be like, see?
So next springtime, I'm going to try to remind you.
Yeah.
Take it easy, bro.
Yeah. That's the app we need to develop. The app for MSers and other chronically ill people who attempt to do too much. And it like a little emoji pops up. Like we'll get Clippy. We'll bring Clippy back and I'll be like, hey, it looks like you're doing too much.
I don't know.
Would you like
Clippy
some help?
is.
You don't know who Clippy is from Microsoft?
No. Is he the mascot from Microsoft?
He was from back in the day.
Yo, man. I totally remember that.
Yeah.
And you can switch it to the Einstein guy.
Yes.
You can. Yes. I didn't
So
I didn't call him Clippy.
What's his name? So he's a paperclip. Get it? So we need him to pop up in the app and say, hey, it looks like you're doing too much. Would you like some help with that? And you know what I mean? We need someone to stop us halfway through the list.
Yo, is that shit still around?
Yeah. Now exists
Clippy's still around on Word if I wanted to.
I don't know. I haven't used that in a very long time.
Okay. All right.
I have the Alphabet Corporation is my overlord. The Google provides me with everything I need to remind me of stuff. Our guests, switching gears, that's enough about me. Our guests for the episode are pretty amazing. They got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. I'm so glad we're starting back up with this one. Give us a little bit of an intro here.
So Jason was on before. Me and him had a talk alone. And Edward, he works with Jason. They're working together on creating this new movie. He's already had a movie before. I don't know if I talked about it before, but he produced a movie called Glass, and he's on a new project. We want to hear about it. And I don't know exactly what it is, but Edward, the guy he's doing it with, has created something so that someone who has limitations on using this camera, I think. So it's the first ever accessible camera. Let's find out when we bring him in. I don't want to botch this any more than I have to.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear about it. Let's bring him in.
So Jason and Edward.
Hey guys, can you hear me? Hey.
Yes, Jason. Hello, Edward. Hi.
Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you.
What's going on, guys?
Not much. How you guys doing?
Not bad. Yo, Edward, it's nice to meet you. I heard about you, all that, good stuff.
Thank you. I've heard a lot about you guys, and I've watched a few of your episodes to kind of get me, and I'm caught up on everything.
Respect.
We love it. So, first of all, welcome to this episode. I'm glad you're here. Terry tells me you guys are doing amazing things. You're working on some super cool stuff. I am super interested to hear about this adaptive camera.
Okay. Yep.
So Terry tells me two things. He says, he's like, we're going to talk about this camera that they're working on and this movie that they're working on. So that's what I'm interested to hear about today.
Perfect.
Amazing. That's what we're here to talk about. I'm very excited to talk about it with you guys.
I was so worried you guys were going to be like, camera. It was a mic or whatever. So I'm glad
No,
I
no,
got it
no,
right.
no. Unfortunately, I'm in the middle of a move, so I've kind of packed all the parts for that. It's in one of the boxes around me, but we can kind of explain. I can kind of explain it. And I'll send you guys the deck so you can put in pictures and stuff.
Perfect.
Like overlay and post.
Cool. Can I just start by saying, hey, Nick, I'm so sorry. Jason, you haven't met Jason. He was here before. I feel like you guys knew each other.
You did an episode. I was not available, I think.
There was whatever timing and stuff. But Jason, Nick, Jason.
Good to finally meet you.
It's nice to meet you.
Good to meet you, man. I've seen a lot of clips of you.
Thank you.
So I feel like I've already met you a little bit.
There was another movie you produced, Glass.
Edward was the director of photography on Glass and producer as well.
You just released it on YouTube again?
It wasn't public. I released it. I thought it should be available, before I hit this podcast. I mean, better late than never. I should have done it a while back, but it went live at midnight.
It's funny because we were talking about to-do lists and productivity right before you guys came on. And to hear you say better late than never is perfect because I was out last week because I overdid it on my to-do list. So glad that it's out now. Tell us about Glass.
Where to begin on Glass? Well, Glass was my first feature. And so Edward was the director of photography on that one. The reason he was the director of photography is I wanted to work with him because at the time I had come out of a really bad relapse. And then my film prior to Glass, The Golden Hour, I did all of the things on that, the music, cinematography, editing, everything. And that took a toll. I had a bad relapse after that film. I approached Edward because I saw his standard and I realized I didn't think I was going to be able to live up to my own standard on Glass, doing it myself. And I certainly would not have been able to, I mean, given how much work it was for the two of us. But Edward's style seemed like a perfect fit. And when we worked together, although it was like early days, and Edward made it so there was no compromise needed to be made on quality. And so, although Glass was like a tough production, for lots of different reasons, it was my first feature as well. Working with Edward was just like, I just knew that we had our big thing ahead of us and that we hadn't really, Glass wasn't the thing, but it was like the good way, it was where we started. I mean, if Edward wants to say more about that later, he can, but Glass was my first feature. And we went in festivals and things like that with Glass and we did quite well there, but I hadn't released it publicly until like midnight. I just thought if we're going to be talking about my films and stuff, people should be able to watch all of what's currently available. So YouTube, it's all on there. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I'll list it for sure. I'm a control freak. And with MS now, I'm like really frustrated because I need someone to do stuff for me. And you've told me this before where you're like, I've given it to Edward and he has control and I have, faith in him, whatever. I'm like, man, you like highly compliment the guy for saying that,
Edward earned that control big time. And I mean, I need it now more than ever. Like I need help with things that I don't want to need help with in my life. But I mean, without taking that help, there's no way that I could be the filmmaker. And I want, like Edward has come up with a way for me to keep doing it without a loss at the standard that I want to put forth. You know what I mean? No compromise.
Yeah.
And that's the whole goal here is like, just because I can't do certain things the way that I want to be able to do them, my brain's still fully here, and I want to be able to I want this movie to be out into the world. And Edward's got the goods. And that's why I just said, Edward, you can be the boss on this project. We had some issues on the last
Respect.
project. my own inner control freak was a problem on Glass,
Yeah.
between Edward and I. And so I said to Edward, like, I'll give you the script. I'll give you everything we need. And then you can take this boat off to the harbor. So that's why I made him production manager of this whole project. Basically, I said, Edward, you can be my boss.
That's respect.
You'll be the adult in the relationship.
Yeah, I guess maybe I can introduce myself and give you guys a bit of a history. So I am Edward, the aforementioned. So my name is Edward Platero. I've been a cinematographer for 20 years. I've done some pretty big things in my career, things that I'm pretty proud of. Having a camera in my hand has taken me all over the world to shoot some pretty incredible things. Jason and I kind of had a parallel trajectory as indie filmmakers in the city of London. And we had mutual friends between us. And one day I got a call from a friend of mine saying, hey, a friend of mine needs to borrow a camera jib. Do you have one he can borrow? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Here's my number. Tell him come by. And Jason came to my house, and literally the intention was like, here's the jib. Nice to meet you. Good luck. Right. Well, we sat at the doorway and spoke for probably close to an hour about film and cinema and what we're doing. And I think at that point in time, we kind of came on each other's radars. Jason looked, and then we had a meeting, coffee meeting, I think after that, where we had more of a deep dive on our work and traded links and stuff like that. And so Jason mentions having me come aboard on Glass. The intention really was, hey, I know you have an awesome slow-mo camera. Can you come and shoot one scene for me? That was the intention.
Was that really it?
That was it. And then so I showed up to that shoot with all my gear. So Steadicams, drones, all that stuff. And then literally Jason and I were like, I'm sure we annoyed everybody on set because we were like, oh my God, let's do this shot of this girl running through the kitchen. Oh, the focus is a little off on that. Let's do it again. Let's do it. So we're doing 14, 15 takes on things just because we were like wanting to get it perfect, right? Because Jason and I share the same cinematic language, right? We both believe in storytelling through a lens, so that's very important to both of us. And so you kind of had two guys who really care about that stuff kind of collide that night. And then I think Jason after that was like, "Hey, can you shoot the rest of the film for me?" So and like Jason said, like Glass was a bit of a marathon for us. Jason had some personal things that kind of kept up through the way. So kind of learning how to manage that along with the production timeline, and also we had the medical issues, and then we had perfectionist Jason popping his head out occasionally that would also throw things into a bit of a spin.
That was my
So
film where I had to learn to let go and like of the reins a bit.
so like when you go into like a film or production with somebody, it's literally like you're going to war with them. And I learned after that one that okay, well, Jason is a guy I can go to war with. He's a main strategist. He has the vision to see things all the way through to the end. Because if you look on the page, it's all there. Like, here's the plan to attack Normandy and take over the world. It's all on paper. I'm a guy like that, can look at that and go, okay, here's how we execute all that.
Nice. That's
Um,
cool.
like I'm a maniac that way, but we work really well together. And like, I'm happy that Jason has given me such a bigger role in this because it allows me to kind of like drive the bus really. Right. Like, and we don't have to make sure Jason's bogged down by like minute decisions. Like, all that stuff can be taken care of. So literally he just has to show up and do his best work. And I'll take all the bullets for everything.
Bro,
So that's just the way I'm built.
I love hearing this. So cool. Kind of like Nick and I. Thanks, Nick.
Can I just say on Edward's behalf, like I've said this to production partners that we've met with, like, I know because Edward is more humble than I am, which wouldn't take a lot. It's like I'm pretty like confident in what we're doing, and I'm not afraid to say, like what we're doing has never been done before, and that's because of Edward, like because of this rig, because of the system, because accessibility in filmmaking, that's not a thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a thing. Like, most people don't make movies, even though it seems like there's lots of movies out there. How many filmmakers do you know? I mean, it's a tall order to do so. It's not practical. It flies in the face of, like, if you live with a disability of any kind, your life is focused on, like, how do I make the most of this day, my 15 minutes of energy, my half an hour of energy or whatever. But, like, on top of that, I'm like, how do I make this feature film the best thing that I've ever made in my entire life? With a body that's, like, adamantly trying to, like, slow down all of that process from happening. And so with Edward, with the rig that he's designed, like, literally by design, I mean, it's never existed before. He's contrived it, he's made it, he's 3D printed parts for it, and it will be used on this film. It will be the first time it's ever been used. And so that's that's accessibility in filmmaking. And again, with this gear, we could make it available to other people who maybe have said, well, I had these dreams that I wanted to do, then I got MS, now I can't do it anymore. Well, we're finding a way to, like, push through the dam, unblock the dam so the
Yeah.
river can keep flowing, if you
That's
will.
amazing. Before we go any further talking about the camera, I just want to make sure that everything is protected legally so we don't give away your thing. So I just want to ask first.
Yeah, everything is
All
good.
right.
We're using everything. We're using everything off the shelf, and our goal is to literally release this
Okay.
as open
All right.
source.
Perfect.
So
All right.
there's to me,
Cool.
I don't want to gatekeep things or patents or things like that. Like if we can get this technology in as many people's hands as possible, that may be taking that first step to do our movie. I can't because I have this holding me back. I want to erase that line for them
Perfect.
with
Perfect. I
this.
just wanted to check. That's awesome to hear. I'm
Yep.
so glad it's open source. I'm a big fan of that because I used a lot of that in my audio production, back in the day.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's dive in then. Let's talk about what the
Uh,
movie's about and how we came up with this camera, why we needed it, and how we got here.
Well, Jason, you might as well you talk about the movie, and then I'll talk about the process afterwards.
so the movie is called Interval. And I began it's actually very interesting that it's called that, because I literally wrote it in intervals. When I started this film in 2016, we were in production on glass at the time. Edward was very pissed with me that I'd started a new screenplay and we weren't even finished shooting glass. But I mean, I said to him, and I still stand by this, like, when it's there, you got to put something down on the page. Or as David Lynch would say, if you have an idea and you don't write it down, you're going to want to commit suicide, right? So I'm like, I got to get it to a place where I can just park it, right? And so I wrote the first act very quickly. I wrote like one day I wrote 16 pages, and that's like insane for any writer. Like that, I was just like, it was pouring out of me. And so I did that, and I got the first act sort of done. Then this movie called Passengers came out, which was a real, like, thorn in my side because there were some similarities in the concept. But as the years went by, because in 2018, I had a really bad reaction, which I mentioned in the previous podcast, to drugs, to MS drugs, and that nearly killed me. And so then the film remained parked until 2021. It was just sort of notes at that point. And so then I picked it up again in 2021, and continued from where I left off in 2018, 2016. And so that sort of kept going. And for some reason, this film would not leave me alone. And it just kept evolving. Experiences that I had in my life along the way, including using FES technology at Parkwood, all have influenced, like, how to approach this story and sort of change the flow. Like, I didn't know, for example, um, when people read the first act of the film. So in the crux of the film opens up with a man trying to resuscitate his daughter who has just drowned. And so people asked me when they read the script, like, because that wasn't in there yet, what happens to his daughter? Why would he go on this mission, into space when he's got a wife and child back home? I didn't know yet, like, what would have been the thing that pushed him over the edge until about 2020, believe it or not, 2024. Is when I realized that she must have died, and he must find a way to bring her back. And in a film that's largely about sleep and the amount of time we spend sleeping in our lives, because you have to sleep at stasis for this mission. He tries to conjure a way to wake her out of a coma. I don't want to like spoil that, but that's what the impetus is. Like a father trying to save his child must make the ultimate sacrifice. In fact, he must leave her and leave everything he knows and loves um, in order to like make that a reality, facing the threat of like losing a memory of all of it. Um, so yeah, that's sort of like the rough idea. I think I trust Edward more to give like that synopsis like live right now, because I ramble and I
No,
like
it's perfectly fine.
Edward can cut through it a lot more sharply than I can. Like I could write the story no problem, but putting it down into like a one
Sure,
sentence log
sure.
line has been a struggle for me. I do have one now, but like it's still sort of like new. Um, but so the idea of interval being the title now makes more sense than ever because of how I've written it. It's the name of the ship in the movie, but there are other reasons why it's called
Okay.
that, which will be discovered in the watching of it. But yeah, Edward, why don't you drop a little on there? Like,
so
clarify.
the short form pitch is like, how far will a father go to save his daughter in the face of risking it all for humanity?
Wow.
It's a movie about an interstellar journey, what a father's leaving at home, the risks he's taken to protect his what he has left behind, because where he's going, he can lose it all. If that's the elevator pitch on it.
Wow, that lends itself to. I can see why the cinematographer would be very interested in making that movie.
Well, the tagline is the only way home is to not forget. And so there's an interstellar nebula, a nebulous cloud, which, put it this way, on a regular day here on Earth, when you look into the clouds, you may see a shape that reminds you of something, right? But like that's a projection of your own mind. That's like a Rorschach, how a Rorschach test works. In this film, this particular cloud, if you look into this cloud, whatever you picture while looking at it, you will never see that again, ever. So if you picture the love of your life or your child or whatever, they're gone from your brain on contact forever. So there's a real impetus to not look up. Okay, then the threat in this movie, the villain, if you will, is memory loss. And so
Wow.
the idea that like if you lose that, you lose everything. Memory is a big theme in every single thing that I do.
I'm reacting because
So
I'm reacting to that because that hits really close to home. That is something that I don't talk about a lot, but that is something that happened after my diagnosis. And not in a sense that like we don't have 100% recall of our entire lives. It's just there are big chunks of my life that I look at pictures that I don't remember that no matter how long I look at it, no matter how many times we talk about it, it's just not up here anymore. And so I
shit.
see these
Uh-huh.
photos and I'm like, when did we do this? And my wife will be like, that was when we were down, we were down in New Jersey. And I'm like, I don't remember being there. And so that is, whew, man. All right.
Well, there's like imagine this, for example. There's a theme in the movie where his wife, Aria, writes a letter to him. Like there's this pleading of like, whatever you do, don't think of me. And so the song for the movie that we were going to be pitching, I have written the song just for my own testing the waters. But I mean, I'm going to be pitching it to an artist that I want to work with. And anyway, the song is literally a love song begging your lover not to think of you. You know what I mean? And how do you do that? Like if I said to you right now, don't think of a banana, what's the first thing you think
Of
of?
course, of
You know?
course.
So it's impossible. It's impossible, which was what makes it an interesting concept for me. It's like, how can this be done? How do you not think of a thing? Because if you forget a particular person, you're also going to forget all the things connected to that, right? There's a whole network
That's
of forgetting.
scary, man.
So imagine if like a certain song reminds you of like your grandfather and your grandma and like an event when you were 6, and then you lose the memory of that song. You also lose everything connected to it. And so that's why the tagline is the only way home is to not forget. And so the clouds are like it's metaphor, but it's also a very a physical, real thing.
For sure. For sure. And that's why people save like the last messages they get from a loved one, because it's how quickly do we forget voices? You know what I mean? Like we think we remember them, but how quick you got me on this one.
Can I I'll tell you something really, really dark, really intense. So the piece of music that we are licensing for to be the backbone of the score in the movie is the Symphony of Sorrowful Songs by Henryk Goretzky. And this is a song written again. I'm not using it for this reason. I can't possibly even entertain the idea of doing that. But it was written as sort of a solemn mourning for the loss of the people in the Holocaust. Okay, so the reason it was written was they found a scrawling in the wall, like that a person, one of their prisoners, had used a piece of their chipped tooth to scrape into the wall, like "Don't forget us," like literally like last rites, last words, and so that's the bad that we're using that music in the movie, and I first heard it in a movie called Fearless by Peter Weir years ago, and I just bookmarked that in my brain as like some way and somehow this music's gonna be a part of my life someday, and so we're using it in this
That
movie.
sounds very, very intense.
Who's the artist again?
I'm pronouncing it wrong. It's Polish. It's Henryk Goretzka. That's how it's pronounced, Goretzka.
So
Yeah, okay, cool.
So we got the idea off the ground. We have our collaboration team. And at what point do we realize we need to create something new? Walk me through the moment where we realized we needed to create an entirely new camera?
So when Jason sent me the script for this, and I looked at it, I mean, it's an ambitious script, right? It takes place on a spaceship in space and between two planets, and we have a world-threatening event that happens on Earth and on the other planet. So looking at this on the page, like like Jason kind of wrote this untethered to any budget, right? Like here's this idea. I'm gonna write it as ambitious as I want. So when you hand that to somebody like me, I'm like, okay, well, let me see. We're gonna need this is gonna cost us $200,000. This is gonna cost us about $1 million. If we want to do this shot of a young kid drowning, then that's a whole stunt team we have to hire. Like it's just money upon money upon money upon money. And I sat and looked at that, going, okay, on the page, this is even if we did everything on the absolute cheap, it's $5 million to $5 to $10 million. That's just doing everything on the cheap, cheap, cheap. And then I thought, well, if we did this as a 3D animated, then we can do it as a fraction of the cost because now we don't have people. Like,
Yeah.
if we're drowning a child, we're drowning a digital character. So we can do it 1 million times without anybody getting hurt, and no risks or any of that. And it just, given also Jason's situation, like, to go on, like, we're talking about filming on a different planet. So we have to find somewhere on this planet that can be a double for that planet. So how do we bring Jason there to direct the film? Right? There's challenges and wrinkles and all this stuff that we face that makes this thing exponentially more difficult. Even if we didn't have Jason's MS to deal with, even if on the page we were able to do everything 100%, it's still a challenge. So by doing this 3D, we have control over everything, and Jason can direct it from his apartment.
Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
on any days we don't have, like, we have schedule. We if we're working when we're working with people, we can kind of condense that down to a working schedule for him. But once we capture their performances, we can just have them run it 1 million times over because we have it in the bank.
Yeah.
And so we can just run the scene, and Jason and I can sit and talk about, okay, well, what if we shot it from here? What if we did this here? Like, we can do all that in real time, run the action on a loop, it makes it so much more tangible, because we control everything at this point. And since we're dealing with clouds and weather and nebula and all that stuff, we can build all that. It's all under our control, so to say. We're going to be doing this inside of a game engine called Unreal Engine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm
So
familiar with that.
Unreal Engine, it's been in the gaming industry for many years, and then just in the past 5-6 years, the kind of the film industry is really starting to embrace it as a tool now for virtual production, viz, all that stuff. So I've been when the pandemic shut, I was a traveling cinematographer, and when the pandemic shut the world down, and I had nothing else to do, I sat and learned this engine and learned this technology. As I thought, this is going to be the future of my industry. I better be tip of the spear on this. So I really dug deep. I'm also, as a part-time, I'm a visual artist as well. So I do interactive art displays and stuff like that. And I've embraced Unreal Engine for all that work. So I've kind of got this hybrid tech where I'm building physical things for people to enjoy on the street that drive an Unreal Engine experience. So taking that concept now and applying it to a camera, it's very easy for me to kind of look at how to do that. And if you know the Unreal Engine and the way it works, we can kind of build our own platform for this in the engine that gives Jason complete control as if he's holding a real camera in his hands, but without the weight, without the, because we can float it. So wherever his mobility is with his hands, um, um, like we can ease that, we can make it more dense. We can, if he's having a bad hand day, we can calibrate the controls that will kind of go for his range of motion that day and everything.
That's cool. That sounds amazing.
We can build it as 2 different rigs. So as a director and a cinematographer, we're using the same pipeline.
Yeah, and so what he's saying is like we're going to use motion capture to shoot the film. So we're using real actors. It's all real performance based. We're shooting it as a live action film just within this ecosystem. And when Edward says like direct from home, he means like I'll be on the set when we shoot and capture the performances, but then after the fact, in my apartment, we can reframe, we can shoot them. Once you capture performances, you can keep changing the angle. You could shoot it, you can position things differently. And yeah, it just, when you pitched the idea to me, like a year ago at this point, a little over a year ago, to do it this way, he was concerned that I would not embrace it. But now I can't think of a cooler way to do it,
right.
because it will look photorealistic still. It's just we don't have the limits of like having to build a space station,
Yeah.
having to build a launch pad, having to build a
Yeah.
spacecraft, all that stuff.
He doesn't have to scream, "We're losing the light," you know. You don't have to worry about time of day, environment, all
Yeah,
sorts of
all
stuff. I just want to know, when you first met Jason, was he exactly the same way? Because I know you knew he had MS. Did you even know what MS was?
So a backstory of me, when I was a teenager, I was a camp counselor at an Easter Seals camp from the time I was 15 to 22 years old. I kept going back every summer. I worked the Easter Seals respite program. So, and one of my best friends has cerebral palsy. So I'm pretty dialed in with like what's out there and these kind of things. But when I did meet Jason, it was before, like he definitely had way more mobility when I first met him.
Okay. All right.
I lived in the closet, MS closet, for a decade before I,
Bro, me too.
yeah, and I was able to.
Me too.
Mhm.
Me and Jason, we're very much alike if you see us. I'm in a chair. A lot of people don't think I am, you know what I mean? We're different, you know what I mean? But, we compare a lot. Where we all have MS. Nick is ambulatory, and people don't seem to accept that because, and I should have been too, but I never gave myself enough respect to sit down when I was tired. And I kept hearing in my head, don't give up, don't be lazy. but no, that wasn't the right thing. I fell down and broke a couple bones because of that. So I'm proud of people who actually, do a lot of self-love, if you know what I mean. Self-respect. But yeah, so I was wondering, I'm like, so you saw him kind of go down? Was he always the same? Because I didn't know him. The way you see him now is the way I know him when I met him at Parkwood.
So if you're talking about going down, I've seen Jason fall down to the absolute depths that a human can fall. When he mentioned he had the brain thing with the MS stroke.
Encephalopathy. Yeah,
Encephalopathy, yes. So as an outsider to that, seeing Jason physically, and then 2 days later he's in the hospital. And when I go see him in the hospital, he's just pure id, really. Like his brain malfunctioned so much that it just he became the absolute core of a person, right? Like acting on impulse, like talking like I've never seen him talk before, right? Jason's a man I've watched obsess over his diet, and I watched this man wolf down Big Macs and stuff like that. It was like somebody took Jason and replaced it with this short-circuiting version of himself. And it was concerning for all of us because we were like, we know the man's a genius, but like right now he can barely put a cohesive thought together.
That's crazy, man.
Without like babbling on about this or hitting on the nurses or like I just never seen, like, if you know Jason, he's a very refined person, right? And to see all of that go away and literally become this like the primordial ooze of himself, right? It was really concerning to the point where like we talked about, well, what's the contingency here? What if he never comes back from this? Because it was really hard to think how he would be able to come back from it. So the fact that after that he's able to rehabilitate his brain to write such an elegant script as this is mind blowing. Because I watched a guy who couldn't put two intelligent words together for many weeks. And just like it was like dealing with a 4-year-old version of Jason. It was crazy. So to see that like he's able to rehab his brain from that, and not, if the crazy thing is, not only is he able to rehab the brain, but he's a better writer now than he was back then.
Okay.
It's pretty crazy.
No, I have no words. Yeah.
It's insane. It just shows you that how powerful of a muscle that the human brain can be.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Jason, do you remember being in that state at all?
Oh yeah. I mean, I wrote a book about the whole experience, memoir, which I've not published yet, but I'm sort of sitting on that one for now. But yeah, no, I started writing it while I was still in the hospital, and I can tell you the first sentence is black. This is how it begins. That's the first sentence in the book, and the idea of like that I was going to die was a very real. It was like on the forefront. So I thought I'm going to get all of this stuff written because nobody else can write it. Like everything that I've ever thought or experienced, how do I figure out my way out of this experience? By like storytelling, and by writing that book, I referred to it as the tether to my mind. I started to sort of order things in my life. When you look back, you can start to see how things fit together, right? So that's what I did with the book. And I started it in the hospital, continued it in Parkwood when I was an inpatient. Every weekend I would write. During the week, I would learn to walk again, learn to get my legs back. But that was like slow goings, right? And I got to the point where I was walking again at the parallel bars. But again, it's a very, very slow. And then I was always writing the book, like every weekend, book. And so I would finish that after about 10 months, took me to write the book. And then that's
how many pages is it?
It's 120,000 words, so it's about 400 and something pages. It's a beast,
right? Like, how does that happen?
right? Yeah, I mean, the doctors can't even explain. Like my neurologist, who's a very prominent neurologist, she said that I'm an anomaly. She said, I asked her, "How is it that we're able to have this conversation right now?" And she goes, "The only thing I can think of is that you are asking so much of your brain. You're using it like so defiantly that your brain's neuroplasticity is adapting, and it's getting stronger." I'm not joking when I say I had a group therapy session at Parkwood called Minds Matter for people who have like recovered from acquired brain injury and things like that. I wasn't a typical presentation because I didn't physically injure my head. It wasn't anything like that. It was an inflammation due to a drug reaction. And so
What drug?
it was it was a combination of Gilenya and prednisone, which both dampen down the lymphocyte level, right? So I developed lymphopenia. So I had no immune system for a bit, and that's where the inflammation came from. And
Two prominently prescribed medications. Those aren't like rare. Those are out there.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they both individually run the risk of that side effect. And so putting them together without checking the blood first is what put me into the gallows, if you will. And so anyway, once that was once I started getting that out there onto the page, I don't know, my doctor simply said that like it's kind of miraculous and amazing, and I do feel, and I can't believe that this is the case, that I had an upgrade. My mind was upgraded through the experience. Like I have no inhibitions really anymore, which I mean, in the beginning it manifested as no filter. Now it's simply like I'm just not afraid of the things that would hold me back in the past. And the harder this movie is to do, the more certain I am that we're going to do it, not the other way around. And it's in my mind, it's already done. You know, it's just like we're just going to catch up with my future tense mindset.
I was gonna say.
Right?
I was gonna say, is it a source of frustration that no one's up to where you're at yet with this?
No, because I don't expect like you'd have to go through what I've been through to be where I'm at with this. So I don't expect anyone to be right there. But I mean, I study quantum mechanics, and there's this idea that like the universe is one thing. It may be just one thing that's expanding. And so that's why time is relative, right? So with this movie, the amount of time it takes to go from A to B is relative to like your own internal clock. Um, and so in my own personal life, right, I'm already there. I'm watching the movie. I've already seen it multiple times. It's just that I'm the only one for now. And so we just have to get everyone else there, which means I've got to physically get my body there to where my mind is, right? And so Edward is like my way, our way. I should say our way. Like it's I don't say a film by Jason R. Gray anymore. I've struck that verbiage from the table. I mean, yes, I'm directing it. You know, I've written it, but like it's our project. You know, Edward is making this possible. A film is a collaborative effort. I mean, in the past, it was like all my posters said a film by Jason R. Gray, which is really an insult to all the other people that help support, make the movie happen. All those other people in the credits, who are they then if it's just a film by me? And so this film has a lot of moving parts. There's no way to do it without Edward. And I said to him when I approached him about the pitch, I don't want to be two old men one day looking back and saying we should have done that thing. This is that thing, and it's happening. We're doing it now. And I'm writing another film as well at the moment, and we're going to do that too.
I'm not surprised.
Kind of take this opportunity to talk about kind of some of the barriers we're facing right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
So we have really paved quite the way on how to do this. We've come up with a sound concept that works. We're inventing a new camera system to do it. We have found our people that we want to be in the film, who are all willing to come on board at much lower than what they deserve to get paid for because they believe in the project. So if we have all these, if you're putting together a puzzle What is the big piece we're missing? Money.
Yeah.
And that is the hardest one. And I'm kind of, I'm going to kind of be straight up about this. We've applied for many grants that have passed us over. And especially a grant in our own city to pay people that live in the city. And I believe that it's like I'm insulted. I'm gonna say it. I don't care. I'm insulted that they would pass over this project because I feel that our pitch was very sound, given Jason's story, given what we're trying to do here in this city, to not even get a penny from our local arts outfit is it's like how does somebody get how is an artist that is facing a physical barrier like going to express themselves, right? And it's not like we're asking them to invest money out of their own pocket. This is government bestowed onto them, bestowed onto them by the government to spread out to engage the arts community, and it's frustrating. And I don't know how we get a leg up on these
Yeah,
things, right?
it's super frustrating when you hear politicians or people in authority saying, "Oh, we care, we want more representation, we want more of this, we want more of that," and then simultaneously say, "No, we're not funding that." Like, come on now, it's right there.
Well, it's sad because we do have a fundraising campaign out there, and we're trying to tap into people in the community to help us out. But I mean, times are tough.
Yeah, sure,
People are, when they go to the grocery store, they're getting killed, and at the gas pump and all that stuff. Like money's tight for everyone.
sure, yeah,
So like how do we get forward when we're appealing to our to local funders that are to fund the arts, and they come back with nothing for us? It's frustrating, and it can be so demoralizing when we're really 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 trying to not only make an innovative project, but also help a filmmaker find a new way to make films that is going to blaze a trail for everyone
yeah.
else behind them.
That's the thing. Like, I'll say it honestly, it's because they can't make any money off of it. You're gonna help the community by saying, "Hey, look, we invented this thing that can help you, and we're gonna give it to you." And that's they're probably like, "Well, we can't make any money. There's no ROI, so good luck." You know, I
Yeah,
mean, that's
that kind of stuff doesn't sit well with me
me
because
either.
we're in the arts,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
our ROI and arts should really not be in the same
No, you're
conversation,
absolutely
right?
right. You're absolutely right. Um, we're gonna listen. We're gonna link and plug everything to the show, but where can we find this fundraiser? Where's this fundraising at?
So we do have a GoFundMe page. It's GoFundMe.com/intervalfilm, I think. Jason, we can give you the
Yeah,
link
yeah,
so you can post
and
it.
Terry's great with all that stuff.
I mean, so our goal is to, with the fundraiser, we're trying to raise enough money to make the film as a full scale animatic. Basically, we're going to pay actors to do performance captures and voice capture of their face. And we are going to kind of four-wall this as much as we can as a very small indie crew.
Sure,
But this allows us to give investors future grant things proof of concept that yes, we can do that.
sure,
Here is our pipeline. Here it is proven from beginning credits to end credits. We've done all this at a scale back budget on with sheer willpower.
yeah,
And to show that we're dead serious about this. Um, so that's what we're trying to raise money for, because we can use that when we apply for grants. We can show them here's it already done. Or if we talk to somebody like an investor or anything that wants to come by, we can send them that and say, here, sit down and watch the movie tonight
you know what?
in this thumbnail form and help us make the real one.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of, I guess it was 1999 when was it motion capture when they were doing the Matrix stuff? This sounds like it's so next level that people are scared. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, yeah, it is. We are pushing boundaries, and we are kind of like we're chopping down the forest for everyone else. But like it's always the hardest one being the first ones through the door, right? Because you're gonna take the most hits. But what we're trying to do here is really to blaze a trail so that anyone behind us, we can say, this is how we did it. Here's all the tools so you can do it
Yeah,
yourself.
and imagine all the amazing stories we're gonna hear once this thing becomes reality. Once this is out there, there's so many things we don't know about yet, and this is gonna be, like you said, this is gonna be amazing.
Like, I follow a guy on TikTok, and I can't remember his handle, but he's like full quad, like cannot move his limbs, and he's got a video game speedrun channel. Okay, think about this for a second. He's got a controller that goes into his mouth, and he controls the whole thing with his jaw, with his mouth. And he's like, I'm watching this thing, and if you don't see him, you just see the gameplay. You're like, holy shit, this guy's sniping everybody. Like, and he's kicking ass just with his mouth. Okay, it's insane. We live in like an incredible time for things like this. I look at how much money is being spent on movies that, like, a lot of the time when these big budget, huge productions are like so tedious, to put it lightly. And there are two movies out right now that are dominating the box office: Obsession and The Backrooms, both made by 20-year-olds, both made for like Obsession was made for $750,000 or something. It's made over 200 million at the box office. The Backrooms was 10 million. It's made like beyond that.
They did a proof of concept of Backrooms in Blender on the laptop. Right. So like it's out there. Like it's out there, and people are using different methods to get it. And for us, our like to do our animatic, that's 1 day craft service budget on on a
Yeah,
Spielberg
right.
film,
Exactly.
right? Like,
Exactly.
and we're struggling to find that.
Or let's be super honest. 1 day craft service bill on a movie that's already been done, on a storyline that is 16
Yeah.
times over. Like, ugh.
And I'm certain, like, I don't think when I'm writing, I don't think of how is this going to make money. It would really ruin the writing if I did it that way. However, when you're making a film that costs money, you want to, at the very least, recoup the cost so that you can do it again. And you don't want anybody to lose money if they invest in you. So the cheaper we can make this movie, and seeing these new films emboldens me that it's possible. The better it looks. Like, I mean, I don't want to be one of these guys like, oh yeah, I spent this many millions of dollars. If we can do it really low and have it look really high, I mean, how much more punk can
Yeah,
you get?
right.
You know what I mean? I feel like I like that it's young filmmakers that are making these movies now. I mean, it's proof to me that like cinema is alive and well. It's not just in the hands of the big studios now. Like anybody, like the fact that they made this movie for 700 grand. I mean, there was a bidding war. Production companies were like throwing themselves at him, at Curry Barker, you know, for Obsession. Now, like with Interval, if we make this like for a reasonable price, which I know with Edward it's possible, like it will be easy to recoup the money at the very least. But I believe in this film. I've been obsessed with this film for a decade. There's no way that I'm that far off base that I could be the only one who would fall in love with this story. I don't think, I mean, I've never seen this movie before, except in my head, which is why I want to make it. I want to share it. It's a testament to Edward. It's a testament to the script that Edward is doing what he's doing, because I'm not afraid to say out loud, this guy swore he'd never work with me again after Glass. Okay? You know, he swore never again. And people have approached him like, wow, you're working with Jason again. Like, when he just said, well, he's changed. but more importantly, the script is that good. Those are his words, not mine. But I believe in the script, or I wouldn't be pushing through all of this. It's been my like a light at the end of the tunnel for me that's helped me get through the really shit days. It's like, well, I have this mission. I have this thing I want to make, and I really, really, really believe in it. Um, and I will not stop until this movie is viewable and preferably on a big screen in theaters for
Yeah.
people. And it's like my dream project. And like I said, I'm writing another one right now too. But I want these are both like I'll have like by the end of this year, I'll have 3 feature scripts that will be like ready to go.
It's definitely the start of something very impressive. I'm now invested in this. I want to know more. I want updates. You guys got to come back and come back again. Especially, I know you just said we were moving. So after you move, you got to come back and talk to us.
I,
Good.
I mean, I can say this, like we could easily, buy $5,000 worth of tokens and end to end this thing as a proof of concept in AI, but we've chosen not to do
Yeah,
that.
no.
No.
We want to work with human beings on this, right? And it's very tempting because I know we can do it. Like the TikTok, we're at the point now that we can do it, and it's such an easier bridge to get, like because we're almost there on a fundraiser. But we don't want to take the easy way out on this, and we want to use humans. We want to make sure that we want to shoot this as if it was a live action film, and not compromise on that stuff at all.
No, there's no soul in AI. Yeah, and you can tell. And you can tell.
And it's hard because we want to be able to put out awesome materials to get people's interest in it, but that all costs money to hire people to do. And like
Exactly.
we have used AI for some of our materials, but that's where we've drawn the line.
Just for
Is like
concept. Just for concept.
just for concept to put us out a deck to get people interested in. But that's the line we've drawn, and we're not going
Good.
to use generative AI moving forward.
Good.
We are also like students of the craft, and we are like Jason and I are dedicated to the lenses as a storytelling tool, right? And the craft that it all takes to do that. For us to take the easy route with AI, it kind of goes against. I mean, for me as an
That
artist,
would cheapen
it
it.
goes against everything I believe in, right?
For me, the AI is a useful tool in the way that a lens of a camera is a tool. But like that's where it ends. With like if you start letting the lens do the photography for you, that's a bridge that I don't want to cross. So once the AI says, "Hey, why don't I take it from here?" That's where I jump off. I'm just like, get me like something quickly that I can show somebody. This is what I want the film to look like, and then we don't need that anymore. It's like literally just
I get it.
like I've been writing music. I've been writing music for like a year, right? And I'm going to be pitching it to bands and singers because I print out demos like using an AI app just to test my lyrics. Like, how does it feel as a song? But that's only for me. Like that's it, and just to like show people proof of concept. But I would never release that.
Sure. Exactly.
In a million years.
Yep. Well, Terry and I are super interested. He's going to get all your info, link all the stuff. I'm going to implore our community to donate to your GoFundMe because I want to see this now. I'm like I said, I'm invested, so we'll get all the stuff. And man, thanks for stopping by and sharing all this with us. This is a lot, and it's awesome. I feel like I don't even know. I'm excited at the tip of the spear that you guys are on, and I don't even know but I'm excited for what's coming. I'm super excited now.
One thing I'd like to say at the end
Sure.
too is my goal was never to. This is not a film about MS. It's not a film about disability or anything like that. But it is important, an important part of the story for me. And I did research on this to like find out, has anybody with advanced MS ever made a movie like this? There are people who have made movies with MS, but they're all movies about MS. Like there's like Jason De Silva made that film When I Walk, which is great. But it's like this is not a film about a disability. It's a film about defiance. And I've said this multiple times. And the story, is the story that I wanted to write from the beginning, but it's evolved through my challenges. My personal challenges have informed it. Therefore, it's very personal to me, but it's not about me. It's also not about, like I said, it's not about MS. But I want it. I looked up that, has this ever been done? I've had ChatGPT dig deep into the beginnings of the internet. There's no record that this has ever been done before or attempted. When was the last time you saw somebody, even at like a film award show, using a wheelchair to get around?
Right.
Ever.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's just, this has not happened. And I refuse that I need to have perfectly functioning legs to be a filmmaker. I refuse the idea, and this film can still exist. It will still exist. And it's a film about defiance that's being made with a very defiant, stance from me. And I'm still working on my legs every day and my arms. I was just mentioning to my PSW earlier that my limbs feel lighter, than ever since I've been working out for like the last few months in a specific way. So the legs are getting stronger. Again, defiance, guys.
That's it.
What it is.
Well, I want to see it made, and I want to help as much as I can. So Terry's gonna do his thing, because I'm really excited, and honestly, I'm humbled and honored that you came back and you're talking about it here, because we're at the ground level, and I can't wait to see where it goes.
Well, your guys' show is great. Like, I love watching like the personal takes that people have gone through, with their MS, and everybody's got a life that was in some way derailed by the diagnosis. Not even the actual event of the diagnosis, but just the idea of it. When a doctor says you have MS, even if you're still fully mobile, your life changes at that moment because like your head starts spinning with like, well, what does that mean for my future? Am I going to have to put off things? Am I gonna have to give up on things?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I faced all of that, plus the realities of like hits to my mobility and like Edward's rig. For me, my hands I have days where they're totally normal. Then there are days when like I wake up and it's just like a fist, and it's like hard to open it up like that. So it's just I don't know what it's gonna be like when I wake up. And he's designed something that will allow for like a stability in the production where no matter what kind of day I'm having, boom, we've got what we need and no compromise.
There it is. No compromise. Thanks, fellas. Appreciate it. I feel very honored. Like I said, hope we'll talk soon, hopefully with better news and a finished product.
All right. Thank you guys so much for your time today.
It's a pleasure, guys.
Edward, nice
Thank
to
you
meet
so
you.
much.
Jason, nice to see you again, bro.
Very nice to meet you
Talk
guys.
soon, brother.
You too.
Awesome.
You too,
man.
man.
Take care, bro.
Bro, what an ambitious project that I cannot wait to have them back on. I'm excited to see the specs of the camera. That is wild. He's literally creating adaptive technology for an industry. And you know what's great about it? It's almost like it touches universal design. So like once this thing is out there, anybody can use it. It's going to make it so much easier for everybody, let alone people with mobility challenges. But there's a lot. That is a project and a half, man. You weren't kidding. When we talked before the show started.
Yo, you see how intense he is. He talks to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I only grasp 50% sometimes.
Right.
I'm like, what's going on? What? That's why I didn't want to mess it up.
Please, if you can, if you're the kind of person who can donate to the arts, I wholeheartedly believe this is a project you should get behind. It's just amazing. I can't wait to see it. There's so much. My head is about to explode, Terry. That was a lot.
Yeah, man.
But in a good way. That was a lot.
I'm sure we could have talked for 2 hours, man. I could see him. He had a lot more to say.
Yeah, we could do this again and again. So for our listeners and our viewers, Terry's going to have a ton of links for the show. Check them out. Support these two guys and what they're doing. It's going to pay off. I'm telling you, it's going to pay off for you and them and the community. So that's my plea. I'm gonna go take a nap. That was a lot, brother.
Awesome, man. Yeah, me too, bro. You can see I faded.
It's all good, but it's good. It's a good a lot. So, all right, brother. We'll talk soon. Thanks, everybody.
All right, man.
See you next week.
Later, guys.
So
Bye.
check us out at 40belowzero.com. That's 4, the letter T, below0.com. Our email address is info@40belowzero.com. And if you don't want to email us, no problem. We're on Instagram as @40belowzero. Awesome. Looking forward to hearing from you, and we'll talk soon.